What it boils down to is if you're a Canadian and you're looking to get that Red Seal, you've really got two options. One is to do a formal apprenticeship where you'll collect the amount of hours you need, you'll get the technical training in school, and then you'll write the Red Seal at the end. The other option is to do the trade equivalency assessment, and that's a process where the ministry will recognize the experience you have in the trade, and you can come in and challenge the practical assessments and challenge the written test. Now, the nice thing about that is if you have some CWB tickets or you've got some high pressure tickets, well, they can be recognized against those practical assessments if they line up. The only one that can't be exempt is the oxy-fuel test, which is number 6. The Red Seal is an interprovincial standard that sets common requirements to assess the skills of tradespeople across Canada. Industry is heavily involved in developing the national standard for each trade. It's a partnership between the federal government, provinces, and territories, which are responsible for apprenticeship training and trade certification in their jurisdiction. Today I'll be talking about the Red Seal endorsement in Canada. And although each province and territory delivers this differently, I'll be focusing on this Red Seal in general and focusing on the province of Ontario as an example. The main advantage of having a Red Seal is that it facilitates labor mobility, meaning it's recognized in any province or territory where a welder wishes to work. What if you're somebody with a bunch of experience that's looking to get a Red Seal but doesn't want to go through the full apprenticeship process? Well, the province of Ontario offers something called an equivalency trade assessment. Is what that is, it allows a welder to come in and challenge the practical portion of that Red Seal. Bunch of different plates, bunch of different configurations and different processes. Now, if you hold CWB tickets or some high pressure tickets, even some ASME tickets, they'll allow you to come in and put those forward as an exemption. The trade equivalency assessment process is for experienced tradespeople who have not completed an Ontario apprenticeship but have equivalent qualifications and experience in the trade. To be approved, you must demonstrate that you have the practical skills and experience required to complete the apprenticeship in Ontario. In order to obtain a Red Seal, a welder must perform 2 examinations. One practical examination to examine the welder's skills and another to test the knowledge in a written test. Welders are given 4 hours to write and must obtain a 70% to pass the exam. All of the following information is taken from the Ontario Welder Practical Examination booklet. All tests are going to be done on carbon steel plate. Okay, practical examination number 1 and 3, or NWPE number 1 and 3, will be done on 2 pieces of 3/8 material, 3 inches by 6 inches, and both with a 30 to 37.5 degree bevel on one side of the plate. Now, NWP number 2 and 5 requires you to have 2 pieces of material 3/8 of an inch thick, 3 by 6 inches, and it requires you to have a backing bar made out of 1/4 inch that is 2 inches by 7 inches long. One side will have a 30 degree bevel, the other will have a 90 degree square side. Okay, NWP number 4 requires you to have 2 pieces of material 3 by 6 inches by 1/4 inch thick. On each side of the plate, you're going to have a 30 to 37.5 degree bevel on each side. NWP number 6 is the oxy-fuel test. So this requires 1 piece that is 4 inches by 6 inches by 3/8 of an inch thick. The NWP number 1 will be welded with the SMAW process in the 3G vertical up position. Root opening and root face should be between 3/32 and 1/8 of an inch. 100% penetration is required, which means a 3/32 to 1/8 cellulose 6010 or 6011 electrode is required. Fill and cap will be done with the 7018, 3/32 or 1/8 of an inch in diameter. NWP number 2 is a groove fillet with a backing bar, 30 degree bevel on one side and square on the other. This will be completed with a low hydrogen 7018, 1/8 of an inch in diameter. It has a 1/2 of an inch root opening. The fillet weld on the square side must be completed first in the vertical up position. All subsequent passes will be flipped up into the overhead and completed. Once filled and capped, the plate will be processed for destructive testing. NWP number 3 will be welded with the GMAW process in the flat 1G position. Root opening and root face is to be determined by the candidate, but must be within the tolerance of the procedure. 100% penetration is required with an ER70S-6 filler metal with either 75-25 or 98-2 shielding gas. Transfer mode will be determined by the candidate. Okay, NWP number 4 will be completed in the 2G horizontal position. This will be done with the GTAW process with either a 3/32 or 1/8 of an inch filler material. Root gap and root face is determined by the candidate, but again must fall within the criteria of the welding procedure. NWP number 5 is a groove fillet with a backing bar. A 1/2 inch root opening with a 30-degree bevel on one side and a 90-degree square on the other. This will be completed with the flux core arc welding process with an E71T-1 filler metal with either 100% CO2 or 75-25 shielding gas. Your first pass on the square side must be completed in the 3G, and then all subsequent passes must be flipped up into the overhead and finished. Once completed, this will be processed for destructive testing.